Hi, everybody. I'm Brian.
I'm Joey.
And I'm Carl.
Folks, this is episode 279 of Mid Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you're new here, this is the podcast where we talk about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bike packing, bike camping, just playing bikes. Today, we're going to talk about drinking coffee. Do you drink coffee while you're riding a bike, or is that something you do during the riding of the bike?
Yes.
All of the above.
Yes.
Coffee water bottle. Is that a thing?
I have definitely put it in a insulated
Yeah?
king
Mhm.
cage.
Yeah?
We're already off on the side ramp. King
Well,
cage
that's
actually,
okay.
if you're interested, makes a. You could put like a clean canteen or some type of thermos in a water bottle cage on a bike,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lip on the front of the cage.
Okay.
Where king cage makes a stainless steel cage where it's completely flat
On the bottom.
and it holds. And I've done it on a winter ride, or you get in a feed bag from Nittany Mountain Works, which you can put another thermos in.
Yeah, I'm a big feedback guy. I enjoy that.
Or you do one of these events and you spot someone out on course or something randomly with coffee.
If you haven't figured it out, folks, our guest this week, Karl Fisher from Alabaster Coffee Roaster and Tea Company out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It is a nationally recognized, family-owned coffee roaster built around one core idea, Joey.
Little League World Series.
It is a big thing there. Cultivating community through the elevation of coffee culture. I love that. I absolutely love that. We're going to explore the crossover between coffee, bikes, business, and how the passion for riding translate into building something meaningful both on and off the bike. Welcome, Karl. It is so good to have you here with us today.
Thank you. This is fantastic. I love it. I love you guys. I listen
Awesome.
all the time, and so this is a little bit of a dream come true, if I can say that.
We've never had anybody say that, but thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you for listening, and that will now be our pinned clip
Yeah.
up on the top of wherever the pinned clip things go in all of the social media worlds. So, folks, if you don't know Alabaster, well, then shame on you, because Karl comes to most, if not, I see Karl. I see Alabaster Coffee at like
Everywhere.
bike events everywhere. I don't know. Are you cloned? Is there more than one of you? Do you have Are you the evil twin or the good twin? I don't know which it is.
Dude, it depends on the day.
Let's dive in.
He's the good twin, and Wes is the bad twin version of him.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wes.
Wow. I didn't.
We could be in that brother triangle, the three of us.
Yeah, I'm on the way on the outside. That's okay though. I like it over here. Let's dive in. Let's talk about Alabaster, where it came from, how did it start, and did it start as a hobby and then go business? What's the story of Alabaster Coffee? Give it to us.
Yeah, Alabaster really started. This was one of those. It's a hobby that became a business. I was had the opportunity to speak just last week to some young business leaders in our area, and it really came like this. Kind of came out of necessity. Really, my background largely is in music. Right, so I grew up as a musician, not really as a an athlete. Um, but I was in choirs. I played violin. My wife and I both have music degrees. So my degree is in playing the violin. And after that, I was in a touring band for a little bit, and then spent a handful of years as a youth pastor. So already things that are kind of all over the place, right? But through that, when I was in high school, I apprenticed at a local orchestral string instrument shop. So I learned how to clean instruments and carve bridges, and do some of those that apprenticing luthier work. While doing that, there was a local guy in Williamsport. His name was Reggie, and Reggie roasted coffee at home. And every Friday, he would bring a little brown paper bag of fresh roasted coffee to the violin shop, and we would make it, right? And I didn't know much about coffee except that it tasted better than what, my dad would let me sip on, when we went to like fast food or something. So
Yeah.
it just became an interesting hobby. I started messing around with different types of brewing methods when you learned, that a French press was different from a drip maker at home. And at some point in college, I learned that you could roast coffee, um, like on your own. And I'm not allowed to have a lot of hobbies because I tend to go all in pretty immediately. Um,
Same.
but
Same.
I wanted to learn how to roast coffee, right? So uh, I read on a message board. This was, late 90s, early 2000s, that you could roast coffee in a popcorn popper. So I went to Goodwill and I got a hot air popcorn popper and found a place that sold some unroasted coffee. And it was a horrible disaster. It all lit on fire and blew all over our back
Oh
porch.
no.
So that ceased. And then I remember I raided my parents' garage and I found a bread machine and a heat gun. So I made a little coffee roaster out of that. And then my mom ended up finding a little coffee roaster, like a 3 ounce size at a yard sale, $5. So I joke with her that she ruined my life for $5. But she brought that, and I just, man, I fell in love with it. So really, alongside doing all my music thing and doing some of the youth pastoring thing, I was roasting coffee, having fun with it, sharing it with friends. It was just this niche weirdo thing, that was pretty unique that I got to do.
What
Um,
year was that when you kind of were like tinkering in the garage kind of thing? How long ago was that?
I'm gonna say like that was college. The
Okay.
end of high school, early college. So for me, that was 2001, to 2005, around there. So those early 2000s, going through that, and Alabaster as a shop really came about. My wife and I had moved back to Williamsport. I was working at a church at the time, and was just anticipating a vocational change. Right. My best friend Spencer and we were looking at actually starting a new church in our city, and I found myself at a place where I wasn't going to continue vocationally as part of that church. Like, we were still attending and helping to get things started, and I was helping do music, and my wife doing kids stuff. Um, but I was going to be looking for a job, and we said, as a family, we love Williamsport. We love where we live. We want to live here. Feel like this is where we're supposed to be, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And being here, we said, well, what does that mean for us as a family? We want to invest. We want to see this place be made better. Also, I'm a young married guy with a newborn. I need a job. We had talked about maybe doing something coffee full time later in life, when you're supposed to have money at that point. Um, but we looked around and said, there's not a lot of coffee happening in our city. Maybe now's the time. So we spent a couple months together talking about ideas and trying to do the research that we knew how to do, and ultimately ended up just pulling the trigger, and we jumped in. So we started Alabaster in August of 2010.
So now by this time, are you creating like banger coffee? Like everybody loves, like, oh, get Carl to the party because he's going to bring that good coffee. Is it by this time, or is this something that you've kind of, like, as after you've started, it kind of evolved even more?
Yeah, we had, I was lucky enough, having mostly grown up in Williamsport. I knew a lot of people. I had gotten to the point where I was starting to sell, coffee to other folks. It felt a little weird walking around in my big jacket with like Ziploc bags of coffee,
Some
right?
coffee.
It's like, you want this one or do you want this one?
Out
Um,
of the trunk of the
but that's
car.
yeah, and that's really where we had gotten to, So once we started, there was a feeling of, we talk about community. We were a part of this community already, and really felt like we had this, a little bit of a core group already, um, and a confidence that once we started, we would have at least a couple of months of people willing to come by and at least try it and
Okay.
see what we were doing, kind of give that friendly support. but there was a lot of anxiety, jumping into that too, having zero business background.
So when you start Alabaster, is it centered around a shop, or is it centered around like trying to get your coffee into other people's shops? Because you've got this idea of cultivating community through the elevation of coffee culture. What does that look like? Is it shop based when you started? How did it play out?
Yeah, it began as shop based. We had to wait maybe 6 months for our first like commercial sized coffee roaster to
Okay,
be built. It was built in Idaho. It's actually in this room that I'm sitting in.
that's where
Right.
all the best
Uh,
coffee roasters come from, right? Idaho potatoes.
it's uh, it's an odd thing, but man, Dietrich Coffee Roasters, that they built our
Oh,
first roaster. They are cranking them out.
I was messing around. That's a real thing then.
Yeah,
Okay, awesome.
yeah, it's amazing. But we had to wait for that, so
Hmm.
we had made some friends and we're pulling in coffee from them as we began. But uh, it was really our intention. I think a lot of businesses that say they want to have a community impact or a community vibe, you've got your product, whatever the thing is that you're doing, and then you've kind of got the why that you're doing it, and if there's some extra support. Um, and I think very often it's easy to hard lean into one or the other.
Hmm.
You're all about your product, and refining that, and you want the absolute best thing that you can do, or you're leaning on the other side, and perhaps the mission of what you have, is the weightier thing, and perhaps the product is really just kind of like a vehicle, for you to do stuff. And I really want to say, well, let's do both, right?
Okay.
Um, Again, I grew up in a place where I didn't want to be a coffee shop that was just good enough for Williamsport.
Mm.
Like I said, again, as a church kid, I grew up listening to a lot of like CCM and popular like Christian music. And then also as a musician, there were often times where I was like, this was what, you know, I didn't want just a good enough alternative, which sometimes there are opinions on that, right? I didn't want to be just good enough for a thing. I wanted us to be good enough to be recognized for hopefully the excellence in what we were doing, and still having that community impact and seeing how we could bring those two things together.
That's tough to bridge, isn't it? That's
It
it's a lot. Two ends of the spectrum.
it is it is a lot. It is a lot. Um, but that's what we said we were going to be about. And I think sometimes you just that was our line in the sand, maybe. Actually, and as you can see behind Joey's head, I mean, that's our mission statement that we had, hand chalked on the wall. That is literally our guiding principle that is above everyone's head every day. Yeah, so really with that guiding, if you look above Joey's head, literally on our wall, that we had chalked up, cultivating community through the elevation of coffee culture. It lives above our heads. It's our guiding principle, every day.
Now, I know that in the world of coffee, direct trade and the sourcing of the beans, that's most people, and I understand, don't even realize where coffee comes from most of the time. Walk us through how hard that is and what a process that is and what it looks like.
Yeah, it is at least to me utterly fascinating, right? The whole agricultural side of coffee, and the time and the number of hands that it touches before it even gets stateside, right? We would generally say all coffee grows between the tropics, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. That's kind of the coffee belt around the world. And so once it's grown on really large farms, um, typically your higher quality coffees are still all hand picked, processed in country, and then shipped to wherever they're going to go. And when we receive them in the U.S., um, that's often, harvest time on a farm typically runs maybe January through March. Um, And those coffees that go out, the earliest we might see them is August or September. Just from that ocean travel and going through, all the stuff that it has to get to be able to receive it.
So that's where did I know that different times of the year beans from different places. Do you guys rotate where you're sourcing them from to keep that fresh flow?
Yeah, we do rotate, and it's one of the things that we wanted to show is that coffee, as an ag product, changes. Like it changes all the time. One of the really unique things that we've seen from working with multiple farms over the years is that kind of the same coffee from the same farm can taste a little bit different year to year. When we opened, we actually did everything we did was by the cup, single cup, for I think almost 2 years before we got like a commercial sized drip machine. And that was actually wanting to fight against the idea of folks trying something and almost like kind of getting in a rut and not wanting to try something else. It was that chance to bring up the perception of brewed coffee.
Okay.
We say coffee is very much almost like one to one with wine, or with apples. I love telling folks, like, if you've ever had an apple tastes like an apple. But if you've ever had more than one type of apple, you know that apples taste different from one another. And coffee is very much the same thing. Coffee is coffee, but if you've ever had more than one, you can bring out a lot of these unique aspects to it. And so our sourcing, something that I love about roasting, is that it allows us to really have an impact and have a hand in the supply chain the whole way through. And right now, close to 2/3 of our coffees are direct trade coffees with the producers themselves or with social enterprises that might work,
Cool.
with multiple farms, from a region. And that's great because we get to continue again that relational aspect, that community aspect, internationally. It also means that we get to have these deeper and ongoing relationships with farms. Seeing what they're doing, what they're struggling with, maybe what their needs are, and it's a unique aspect to it because we've got more invested in how they're doing, and wanting to see their success rather than necessarily just like picking something off of a menu.
Okay. Do you ever get to travel to any of these places? Do you, or is it pretty much a virtual kind of relationship you have with the folks that you're dealing with?
Man, I love to travel. I love it so much. I've had the opportunity to travel to Nicaragua, Peru, Mexico, the Dominican Republic.
Nice.
I'm hoping in the next year to be able to get to take a first trip to Africa, to Kenya and to Uganda. One of our former managers, actually, who's right above Joey's right shoulder, Nico. She was with us for a number of years. Originally she's from Wellsboro, so up,
Oh, yeah.
Mammoth Way. And once she moved on from our shop, continued in the industry and now works for Ugandan Specialty Coffee Company as their COO. Um,
Wow.
Helping to bring other super high quality farms in Uganda together. She lives in Uganda, about half the year. So it's also really exciting for me to see our staff continue, often in this industry and doing some pretty amazing things.
That is cool. That is cool to see folks that you bring into an industry grow and flourish. That's very rewarding. I find that very rewarding. Talk to us. What is the community tap program? Where'd that idea come from, and what is that all about?
Yeah, so Community Tap was actually an idea birthed locally by our friends at the Bullfrog Brewery. If anyone from
Okay.
the region is familiar with them, um, and the Bullfrog started this as really just a way of giving back, right? Kind of a benevolence piece. We've got no shortage of donation requests and support requests and things. And community tap was an idea that we would have, they'd have a beverage, and that we would match a donation out of the cost of that. So Bullfrog often has a beer that they're doing that with, and we said, well, we want to hop on board with that and do that with some of our coffee drinks.
Nice.
And so we had started, we were doing for a few years a specific, like a signature drink. And we do that every month. For us, that program highlights a different local or regional nonprofit. So that's one of our criteria. We want to work with nonprofit groups, and we'll craft a drink and then match a donation that is going directly to them. We're treating
So,
that.
so,
Go ahead.
so you've got a drink like every month. What's this month's? What's
Yeah,
this
yeah.
current window's?
So,
Is it green coffee for St. Patrick's Day? Is there such a thing? No, they don't do
so
that.
well, we do have a drink on called the Lucky Latte, which is like a cereal milk latte with
Ooh.
cereal marshmallows on top, which is pretty.
Get out of here.
It's pretty fun.
I did get a Lucky Charms latte this morning at our local place.
We're running that, and for our Philly folks around St. Patrick's Day, we're also running an Irish potato latte. If anybody knows their Irish potato candy.
Oh, that is excellent.
Oh man, Roadside Philly Bike Expo during St. Patty's Day weekend is a freaking nightmare.
Oh,
that city
I
parties.
thought about it.
Yep.
Did you go to Patty's Pub?
I hid in my hotel.
No.
Dude.
Philly.
Dude.
So one more
yeah.
piece about the business. When you're looking back and you're seeing how you've evolved Alabaster, are there any collaborations that kind of stand out, or what kind of advice in that arena would you share with other small businesses trying to do what you've done, which is blend that community component with something that is larger in scale?
Yeah, one of the things that I love about having a business and being in charge is that you can do what you want in an aspect, right?
Yeah.
There are very few other vendors, perhaps, that they're the only place that you can get something. And so I really love the fact that we can decide who we want to work with. We can work with friends. We can support the groups that we want to support, and really bring that collaborative effort together. I think still really in a time, especially these last handful of years, where frankly a lot of communities I think are still wrestling with what does community look like, and what does just being around other people look like. So any chance that we get, especially kind of like off the wall stuff, I mean, one of the first collaborations that we did actually was with the aforementioned Bullfrog Brewery. They approached me when we first opened about doing a coffee beer together.
Nice.
And again, that was 15 years ago, and we've been doing coffee beers with them since. And that also turned into then being able to do the coffee program in their brew pub. And that really helped launch our whole wholesale program, and roasting for other folks, which is about half of our business now. But we, from there, we work with, about a half a dozen breweries around the state, that we do coffee beers with. We have local ice cream places we do coffee ice creams with.
Wow.
All the way up to last year, we started doing we did some collaborative merch with Evan and our buddies at Nittany Mountain. You can get your Alabaster Ditty bag.
Cool. That's cool.
You
Show
know,
that again. Show that
the
one more time.
the one of one tote.
That is awesome.
That's our
That is
Ditty.
awesome.
And there are so many places that you can go, but being able to collaborate with other small businesses, it's something that I find honestly very similar to the bike industry, and as I see in and in the Mid Atlantic in the gravel world, especially, um, there's so much local love, um, pulled into these events. I love it. That's so much of why we do what we do.
It seems like, and that is just a wonderful segue because I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to shift gears into. Did you listen what I did? The
I was going to say,
shift gears. You see what I did there?
Click,
Shift
click,
gears into
click,
the
click.
connection between Alabaster and cycling. Yes.
say before we go, because I'm going to nix this middle section and kind of group this with, and you're the better interviewer, which is why I'm always silent. But just because coffee does go back to bikes, everything goes hand in hand. Before we get to that, and you might have dabbled into this a little bit, but like, so people know, I think we're in an era where people are starting to realize the importance of small business, getting away from the corporate structure. But can you sum up like challenges a little bit of like what goes into this? Like you're supporting your family with this, you're supporting your employees' families. Like it's not just supporting a small business in one aspect. It's like, it's supporting a community by someone who's stepped up.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like you don't have to get into super detail, but like I don't want people to always take it for granted. But like, what are a little bit of the ups and downs of doing a business like this, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Question, Joey.
What?
I said good question.
Oh,
Joey.
thank you.
It's a great question. Small business is challenging because it is small. Uh, at times, it's also often like it's very lonely. It can be very lonely. I'm really grateful for the network of other small business owners and leaders that I have. It started in coffee. When we began, I knew nothing about business. I'd never worked in food service in my life, and I wanted to start a coffee shop. And I just started like cold emailing other shops around the state and said, "This is who I am. I'm thinking about doing this. Do you have any advice?" And have made some continuing great friends and relationships from other like-minded businesses. Like I said, day one, the Bullfrog, they were here, in my door saying, "Hey, we're glad you're here in town. We want to see you succeed. When I've had my hard days, I can go there and talk to them. They do the same, right?" Um, it's good, but it's also like this is the last thing. So when we started, me, my wife Bethany, and our 7-month-old Sabra, right? I mean, 15 years later, we have 4 kids. I think we've employed close to 60 people over the years,
Wow.
That's awesome.
which has been fantastic. My 2 oldest kids are actually on the payroll here at the shop. You will see them at events, running coffee and riding the races also, which is great. I feel like if there's any success that I feel like I've had doing this, it's also that we've been able to create a family business that our family doesn't resent it, and that
Ooh,
that they
that's
still
awesome.
support it and want
yeah.
to be involved. Right.
Yeah.
I'm really appreciative, and my gratefulness is, that's not lost on me
Yeah.
there. But and in our community, man, it can be hard to do the whole shop local thing. Um, but it's that reminder that, when you get to have interactions like we're having here, and seeing where that support and those benefits go, immediately. Like I said, I'm a musician. I went to a local music store last week where I could walk in and pull a couple guitars off the wall, play them, talk about it, have that service interaction, which is so much better than, saving $50 and point click online.
Yeah.
With no follow
Yeah.
through. Like we want
Absolutely.
to support our community, and we always vote with our dollars. You know.
I think that, as a former, well, I still do some small business stuff, but I'm not as active in the community. But when I was first starting out, I know how important, and I think everything changes from region to region. But for here, I know that our local chamber of commerce was very integral in bringing people together, of supporting that environment, of helping each other, and it meant so much at the time. And no matter whether it's a chamber of commerce or whether it could actually just be a a local business association in some way. It can take all kinds of shapes, but you've got this sort of central gathering point that allows businesses to help each other. It's so big, it's so huge.
We're better when we do it together every time.
Yeah, yeah.
Quick side note before, because I want to pivot to bikes, because bikes and coffee go so well together. Fun fact, I think 2018, me and Wes wanted to start roasting. And we wanted to put the shop inside the shop in Solomon's. And then we sat down and did the research. And I just don't think people realize what goes into it on one side. And I've been small business my whole life, and I respect. But, man, when you try to put on paper and explain to your friend and back and forth with each other of, like, what it takes to put that cup of coffee in someone's hand and how much it actually costs. And, like, it is ridiculous. And it's so much more respect when you spend a little time doing that for the people who actually do it and have made it this far. It's just
early on. It's got to be
amazing.
It's a passion driver, correct, Carl? I mean,
Correct.
I think everything in life that is eventually successful, it's a passion driver.
Yeah.
Because initially, now we make tens of dollars here on the podcast yearly, tens of dollars yearly. And I know there was a time where it was mostly tens of hundreds of dollars going out the door, but now
it's not in the red anymore.
Yeah, it is too.
It's just it's just surprising. Like I said, you sit down and look at it, and it's just like it's so.
Well, let's pivot over to Alabaster and bikes and that connection. I mean, obviously, there's a huge connection between bikes and coffee. But where's Alabaster? Where have you found your niche inside that space?
Yeah, it's I think it was 2015, somewhere around there. We were starting to have some more local bike events. I had just started riding again. The first time since the end of high school. I took my long hiatus. And
do it.
and it was really just from from some customers looking to have to have something unique and different at the events. So we showed up. We showed up and found this great niche of an espresso or a cappuccino, like before the ride, or it's like something out on the course, a pop-up aid station, with an espresso and a waffle.
Yeah.
And man, it was so much fun, right? It was so much fun. And not to disparage any other sports, or youth sports, but there was a vibe at these events where I was excited to be there. They were having fun. They still felt like this, like, collaborative, like everybody's from all over the place. And as one of the things that I saw, like, as a coffee person, I really love, we say here at the shop, like, surprise and delight. That's like our customer service goal is, surprise and delight. What can we do? And, the cool thing is, being in the middle of the woods, if you roll up and you're able to like grab an espresso, that is immediate surprise and delight. Guys, we were doing the public lands ride It's put on by the Pennsylvania Environmental Council in Blackman Shannon State Park. And a couple years ago, we were doing coffees as folks were doing registration. We're on the lakefront. We're right by the woods, and these like three young adults, they're just like zombie walking through the woods, right? They come out, and this guy's like, I what is this? What? It's what? Like, they weren't even there for the ride. They were just camping, right? Woke up because they heard some commotion, started wandering through the woods, and came upon, you know, coffee shop on the beach. It
A
was
random man making
fantastic,
espresso.
right?
That's got
Those
the
are
whole Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe vibe thing, where like just wandering through the woods and there's a lamppost,
yeah,
and it's like, wow,
it's so
that's
good. I
cool.
mean, don't make me dress up as Mr. Tumnus, but I'm happy to be there. But yeah,
Uh,
it started as that, and it really just snowballed from there. Quite honestly, because so many writers and event folks, are supporting each other's rides. Um, we would get invited to other things and would show up. Um, I still love riding, and frankly, when I ride events, I'm still in the back anyway. So I would show up, and if they would just let me ride, it's like, all right, we'll get coffee for everybody, and then when it's down, I'll hop on my bike and try to keep up also.
well, the idea of and as somebody who has run a bike club and been a part of the leadership in a bike club, one of the things that the bike club is always looking for is a home. And when you have one, there's something special about it. And when you don't have one, there's something that's very demeaning about it. It just doesn't feel like you've got that gathering spot. And I think bike shops can do it, and I think coffee shops are sort of the next thing, and then breweries can also do it. But it feels like there's like that component of it. Once you find that home with a coffee shop or with something like that from a bike community, it's for the business, it's instant customers, and for the customers, it's instant home. Which kind of I do you have a club that sort of uses your shop as like a gathering spot?
Yeah, we have a couple different groups here locally. So we have a kind of an all ages Velo Club, the SVVC, Susquehanna Valley Velo Club. So we'll do coffee rides, especially throughout the summer. We have a lot of teachers, as part of that. So, hitting a local ride on like a Tuesday or a Thursday, and then ended up here for coffee. Um, and I also, a handful of years ago, when my kids were old enough and started, we joined our local pickle and Nika team
Okay.
here. And so we're a bit of a hub for that also. And that's been, like I said, love it because I get to do coffee and the family thing, with that.
That is so cool.
Fun fact for Carl being all over, we were at Public Lands Ride together 2025, I remember the year, which is one of my favorite rides that I've never ridden. But just like Carl was explaining the setting, but Carl came up that night. We hung out. We were going to sleep. Anyway, he did the coffee the next day, which you get this world-class pop-up shop in with this beautiful setting. And then he went over and did another, he went to a Nika race. So he like hit two of these the same morning, like works his butt off.
How do you even do that? Right?
I don't know. And it's just like, it's just so cool supporting both. And yeah, it just means a lot, I think, to the community.
That's cool. That's cool. So have you seen, do you feel like I feel like there's this thing where coffee and breweries and some of these places, once they become a home for cycling, I feel like that's a catalyst for the cycling in the area to grow. Would you agree with that? Is that something you've seen?
Absolutely. What you said about needing to have a home, I think everyone needs a home base. We need and it's not just a comfort spot, but I think it's to have a place of like not mental chaos. even just to be somewhat forward thinking and being able to get people together and have those brainstorming times, and not just texting a bullet point back and forth,
Yeah.
every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we're really lucky here, that we have so much, we have so many events, and there's so much love and support, for these other events. Um, but we're also seeing, some development here. We've been working on the past few years with our city and with the county, working on developing, like a pump track and a skills park, something that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be, um, open to the community. But that's also because we have the support of the local clubs, um, local leadership that is available to talk to, and to bring into a relationship in these things and say, hey, like this is going to be a benefit. We've got the people to do this, and that want
Mm-hmm.
to. And I think in any area there are so many folks that have the ideas. Um, there might be fewer folks that have the resources to do it, but there are people to do it, and they just need to be, organized. We just need to communicate and get those folks together. So if we can have that place, to um, allow those ideas and allow that forward and positive change to like incubate and happen. That's
Mm.
that's a
Mm-hmm.
big piece of, I think, what we can offer.
Make a note. Carl, you back?
I'm back.
Okay.
Yep.
We lost everything for a minute.
Just a
This,
few seconds.
this has been a weird morning.
Yeah.
This has been a definite weird morning. I apologize for that. Um, what does your current, like, I don't want to use the word, like, geographic footprint for where you wholesale? Where can people find Alabaster Coffee?
Our uh, our primary footprint is in, uh, gosh, I want to go Phineas and Ferb and say the tri-state area. Um, but we're we're primarily, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, a little bit New York. Um, but we've worked with folks, across the country. We had helped, a few years ago, a shop in Central Florida, open. We helped them, like, kind of design their whole shop out, and we're, a great partner of ours. Some folks out in some folks out in Colorado, upstate New York. So it's kind of all over, which is great.
Are there any limitations on, like, if somebody in like you said, like Oregon or somewhere said, hey, we really want to put Alabaster Coffee here? Are there any limitations? You say, well, we can't ship that far, or is it just like, yeah, let's do this?
None. I'm a person of possibility, right? Look at the
Nice.
potential. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I always wanted us to be accessible. I
Huh.
kind of put us in that. If I had to call it something, I'd call it premium accessible. We want to help folks move, like, take a next step in quality, and again, the support of their dollars and what it's going toward. So, we ship anywhere across the country. We don't do order minimums or things like that. And we want to see people succeed.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I love working with other small businesses, um, and I'm not trying to take over other people's small businesses. Uh, I want to see people in some ways, like, kind of like myself, who have, like, they've got a passion, they've got a dream, and they're looking for some tools, to make that happen. And we really want to come alongside and help provide some of those tools.
Well, it's a great marketing opportunity to go to these events and get people addicted to your coffee. and they go home and they tell their local bike shop, you should put coffee on the shelves. And I know a coffee connected bike kind of thing going on. So maybe that, or you could just get listed on QBP. That would actually be helpful too.
No, you don't want to deal with QVP right now.
I don't even know if that's still a thing.
You want to go direct.
Yes. Well, when I'll say if you're a bike shop person, the thing that we developed. I mean, we co-pack it, but our steeped coffee packs.
Yes.
I don't mean to sound like I'm shoehorning an advertisement in here.
That's exactly
that's
what we're here for.
But as a cyclist, as a camper and hiker and Eagle Scout, right? I also wanted to try to find ways to bring great coffee into the outdoors, and I'd always have to carry a whole bunch of stuff. So we've partnered with a company called Steeped. And they make a single serve coffee. It's effectively coffee in a tea bag. So it is portioned out for 1 cup. You dunk it and steep it for 5 minutes, and you've got a great cup of coffee. You can do an overnight cold brew if you want to. The packaging is compostable. I'd still recommend and encourage folks to pack out what you pack in.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like I said, fully compostable. There's no, again, like staples or metallic anything, and it's really solid. And as a co-packer, we get on the schedule and we roast everything. And when it's our day, we ship it to them. They package it and ship it back to us. So that's like our go-to outdoor coffee. 10 of them fit in an Alabaster Nittany Mountain Works Ditty bag perfectly.
Love it.
And we've got our buddies at Freeze Thaw Cycles in State College, Justin and the crew there. They're great folks. I've purchased bikes from Justin, and he's a great friend. He carries steeped packs, individuals, and I think like 10 count boxes. He's got a little corner in the shop that's like bike packing specific, so that's, he's got those within all that stuff. So we'd love to partner with you.
That from a bike packing perspective.
I had those in
huge.
Our last trip so long ago, but Karl brought those and got me hooked at Grindero years ago. I really suck at buying them, like when I'm not there.
Well, but if they were in your local bike shop,
good. Yeah, I would say that.
That's something you would see on the shelf.
That's like a game. It's just one of those little things that is why you go to your local bike shop too.
Everybody is looking for how to do coffee, bike packing, backpacking, bike packing. That's the thing. It's like everybody's looking for that solution, and that feels like it's like right there.
And it's so good, you don't lose anything.
We've been really happy with it.
Yeah, it's not instant Folgers in a cup, which is fine for most people. But if you're bike packing, elevate it a little bit.
Elevate the game, man.
Yeah.
Elevate the game.
You shouldn't compromise.
Yeah, you put all this money into the bikes and the bags and the trips and everything. You don't want it ruined by freeze dried coffee. You want what Karl's got here with the steeped bags. You want that primo experience, because bikepacking at the end of the day is about experience.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
So this adds to it.
You want those primo watts? Come on.
Yeah.
And if you suck at I'm a horrible internet shopper for like multiple reasons. But the thing I've been preaching so much the last handful of months is my Alabaster Coffee subscription, because I'll have something in a cart for months. Like I was talking to Will, talking to our friend Will Pack from PA about like these Rally Tech suspension things for my car. It's been in my cart for 2 years.
Yeah.
But something I don't have to think about is an actual.
Take your time.
Like, it comes every month.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think about it. As long as my debit card doesn't get compromised and changed, like it just shows up, and I'm like, I make it, Karl, literally almost to the day or two before the next shipment arrives, and it's so convenient and nice. And I'll get beans from the shop down here too, but like when I have it, I just want that pour over or the like a I have a French press today, but it's there. I don't have to think about it. It shows
So
up at my door.
in the subscription, do you pick what you want, or is it sort of like
That's the nice thing is I don't.
you don't? So it's just something shows up, and
Yeah, and you try it.
That's the experimental
If you want
experimentation
to
side.
muck it up with a bunch of gunk in it, you can, but it's just so delicious having a good quality bean.
Nice.
I don't know. I love that, and that I'm not like I'm always doing a plug, but I'm doing a plug because I love Carl. I love the shop and what he does, and the convenience is there. Like it's just so good.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
You're not doing a plug. You're just sharing what it is that you
What I like,
use
yeah.
and you appreciate, and
Yeah.
and what you're
Although,
happy with. Different.
On days like today, where I'm at my computer a lot, metal insulated French press is very convenient
Yeah.
It's a whole world.
because it's not going to go cold.
The
so bad,
whole
but-
world.
No,
Love it.
I love it. So before we get too late and whatnot, I don't know how you want to pivot this.
You just do it.
And I want to
Pivot.
spend Carl's time. Like, give us a quick, because we're going to go to quick hit questions, which I think is really cool. But give us a little bit about you riding bikes, real quick, Carl.
Yeah.
And, like what you do, and like what's your favorite thing. You can tell us what you ride, what you don't ride.
Yeah, so I didn't ride for a long time. I think I picked it back up in like 2016 because most of my friends rode. And if I wanted to hang out with my friends, I needed to ride.
Yes.
So it's great. I'm a guy that gravel is my jam. You know, it was kind of the perfect, we say, the perfect party to ride ratio.
Mhm.
I loved it. So I'm typically riding. I have an all city Cosmic Stallion that I got from Freeze Thaw from Justin. Love that bike.
Nice.
I got it the month before COVID shut down, so I skin of the teeth.
Perfect timing.
So I'm riding that. When I'm riding and coaching for NICA, now I'm on a Salsa Timberjack, a hardtail. It's comfy. I had gotten a few years ago wanting the full squish. I actually am the proud owner of Baron von Fancy Pants's Kona Hey Hey, and
Dog.
I absolutely left the Baron von Fancy Pants sticker on it. But now that my son is tall, he's in eighth grade and racing for our NICA team. That bike is now his, so he's now on the third generation BVP. Hey, hey.
Do you get the same question that Joey gets all the time every time he goes anywhere on his roadie labs? It's like, that's Matt's bike. Do you ever get like, hey, that's Nate's bike?
I I do get some of that. I've had it at a few NICA events where folks that weren't familiar with with Nate look at, they're like, Baron von Fancy what? You need to do some explaining. I was like, no, it's my friend. He likes to wear real short, jean cutoffs, which just leads to more questions. Love you, Nate.
Oh,
We
that's
were Hey Hey
fantastic.
Bros forever
Yeah,
until I didn't have a Hey anymore. I
So
still
you-
want to get that thing back.
your hey did nay nay. It was all gone over.
Yeah.
Whip.
All right. Well, you want to do some quick hits?
Yeah, it's a new segment
New segment
for guests, and
for
then we'll
guests.
get to this or that. It's
Do you-
not this or that.
Would you like to do the quick hits?
Sure. Let's do these. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're coffee related, possibly a little bike related, like a 10, 20-second answer. You don't have to get too deep in if you want. So, you ready?
Ready.
Go to brew method.
Go-to brew method is a Chemex. I typically want at least 2 cups of coffee, or it's enough to share. We make one every morning, even before I go to work at the coffee shop.
Do you drink coffee at the coffee shop?
Yes, I think I'm like,
Absolutely.
I'm about 5 deep right now.
Espresso or drip? So we go back to the Chemex. Not per se, but
I enjoy espresso, but I will always take a solid drip first.
And that was 3 different things: drip, pour over, and espresso are different for the non-coffee drinkers, right?
Yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Pre-ride coffee or mid-ride stop for coffee?
Mid-ride.
I
Mid-ride.
was cheering for both.
Oh, okay, okay. Answer C.
You can do whatever you want, Carl.
You can answer
our
any
podcast.
question. You can answer questions any way you like.
Yes, then the answer is yes.
Yes.
Constantly.
I love this next one.
What is a dream collaboration of yours? Maybe you've already done it. I don't know.
Dream collaboration. I would honestly love to do a collab with a bike brand. I think that would be a lot of fun. And whether it's kind of partnering together um, on a larger a larger format show, maybe, or something that is like an actual like bike related. I would really love to do that just because that's so much of like the two big social circles that I'm in.
Yeah.
We need to hook up Steven.
Well, I was going to say,
Carl.
the ethos of both brands, man, if I could pick a brand off of my shoulder right now, like something with like Rodeo Labs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're thinking like Specialized or Trek or that more niche brand, but man, I think of Alabaster and Rodeo together now that that's come out.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
some sort of like little way you could store the little packets into a frame. Or
All right,
something.
next question.
I'm a goofball.
I love it.
One coffee everyone should try. That is a loaded question because there's different methods, there's different beans, but one coffee everyone should try.
I think a coffee everyone should try is just a natural processed coffee. And so if you're ever looking at a bag of coffee, and most conventional coffee it's called a washed process. Very generally, just like very very balanced, very classic. Natural processed coffees at the farm level, they're prepared a little bit differently, and they have some more natural fermentation that happens on the fruit. So you get just some more heightened fruit or floral notes off into these coffees, and they can even go, they can get super funky, but it's a very different coffee experience, and I think most people that are into coffee honestly can tell you the first time they ever had a natural processed coffee. I can tell you that my first natural processed was an Ethiopian natural process from Square One Coffee in Lancaster, that I had going to the beach. I think it was in 2009. Right, that was one I thought was artificially flavored, and it wasn't, and it blew my mind.
Wow.
I remember mine.
We were talking this pre-show. I'm not a coffee drinker, but you guys have got me thinking maybe, Carl, you and I need to you need to say, okay, for a non-coffee drinker, here's the gateway. I don't want to call it a gateway drug.
It is.
Here's the gateway, because you're sitting here talking about floral notes and fruit, and I'm going, maybe I've never just actually had coffee that's any good. Maybe that's my problem.
Yeah, and that's neat. It's like going through a tasting. It's
when I started working at Carvella, I was like 22. Everyone drank coffee, but my friend Aaron Canale part-timed with me there. I shouldn't have said his name. He's like a recon Marine. I don't want his name to get out on the internet. But he was working part-time at Ceremony Coffee Roasters in Annapolis. And from the first bag he brought, that was my first real bag of coffee. I was like 22. Not Starbucks, not Folgers. And then he took me to Ceremony one day, and we did that sit-down. I was like, oh, my God. Like, I don't need 6 cups of cream and sugar. Like, you can actually taste how good the coffee is in the process, and he walked me through it, and just a whole different level experience.
Is there such a thing as you just described one? But is that something that's normal, like coffee tastings?
Yeah. We'll often offer those kind of guest forward as classes. We're working on developing here for our bar like just brewed coffee flights, doing that. But even our wholesale partners, when we bring on a new shop, we'll always have them come in, excuse me, and do a full tasting with them. Um,
Hmm.
Brian, I'll
Yeah.
float this out with you. I don't fully know when you might be back up this way for events. But if you're up for Grinduro, Iron Cross, or if you're down at regionals, we'll figure out when we're going to be at an event together, and we will plan on doing a coffee tasting. It can be the
I'm down.
Alabaster Mid Atlantic GTD coffee tasting. We'll
We need to do an on-site episode
Oh
with
yeah,
a video. Let's do an
Brian's
on-site,
getting a video.
yeah,
Yeah.
on-site episode video of the non-coffee guy being exposed to
Oh,
the
that'd be great.
coffee world. I'm
All
down
right.
for that. We'll
Yeah.
actually,
It's out
what
there.
we'll do is we're gonna plan that. We don't. It doesn't have to be a when we encounter each other. We're gonna actually plan to come up because at Williamsport. I mean, I love coming to Williamsport.
It'd be an overnighter.
Yeah, yeah.
Go up
A
early
lot
in
of
the
fun.
day and then
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Beautiful.
We're gonna do
take
that.
Karl out to dinner and then
Yeah, yeah. That's
All
a
right.
fantastic idea. Love it.
let's do some this or that.
So this or that. So let's revisit 278. Last week I published peanut butter mud
my wife's a savage.
versus sketchy creek crossing. Any guesses as to the direction that this one went? It was
I don't even know.
landslide. It was a peanut butter mudslide. 89% for creek crossing, over 11% for the peanut butter mud. Only 5 votes for peanut butter mud, and your wife was one of them.
Jess, yeah.
I don't know what she was thinking, but and the best comment I got, Gordon called it the Appalachian shoe shine, the sketchy creek crossing. I thought that was fantastic. The Appalachian shoe shine. Thank you, Gordon, for that.
That's
I really
that's a
appreciate
sticker.
that.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Gordon has he has Appalachian Journey, and he is the race director for Bald Eagle Gravel Grinder coming up. He is all on board for talking about Gordon and what he's doing after early April.
Cool.
So we'll have an update with Gordon.
A little Gordon preview. We're going to have
Yep.
Gordon sometime in April. Fantastic. I love that.
So.
Okay. First item on this week's This or That, and Karl, you get to answer first. Joey, you get to answer, and then I'll bring it home.
Yeah.
Perfectly dialed espresso every day, or unlimited access to the best coffee beans in the world, but you have to brew it yourself every time.
Oh, number 2, absolutely. I'm not even. Oh yeah, I want that coffee, and I want to make it myself. I also question if there's such a thing as a perfectly dialed espresso every day.
That's a good answer.
Joey?
Yeah, I'll go with number 2. I'm not like a huge straight espresso fan.
Uh-huh.
Something about it, and I can never. I almost might say it because I can never fully dial mine into where I think it should be at home on the machine. But
Now, espresso, a non-coffee drinker here, espresso comes in the little tiny cups, right?
Yep. Just
Okay, I just love the little tiny cups.
just super
little tiny
concentrated.
I love the little tiny cups. I just think the aesthetic of the little tiny cup is on money.
Yeah.
Number 2, ride solo on the perfect route with perfect weather, or ride with your favorite people on a mediocre route.
Favorite people, mediocre route, because I think your favorite people make even a mediocre route the best route.
Yeah.
I wanted people to think about this one because you do want that perfect ride. We've had crappy routes, crappy rides, events, but when the right people are around you, it's just you can turn type 2 fun into type 1 really quickly with the right crowd.
Memories are made.
You can also make it go south too with the wrong crowd, even on the perfect route.
Yeah.
I want my friend. I ride bikes for friends. I don't.
Yep.
I'm not a fitness
100%.
freak. Yeah.
100%. There's no such thing as a perfect route, but your favorite people in the world make anything better.
Yeah.
Those years at Croatan when the wind blows and the mud flies and we just walk away from going, fantastic.
And I know there are people listening that will pick option 1. There's nothing wrong with that because one time in your life you should have that experience.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Number 3, own your dream bike, but only get to ride locally, or ride anywhere in the world, but on a very average bike.
I would ride anywhere in the world. on the average bike. I want to see
So
stuff.
Joey.
I don't know. I came up partially with that one, but that's almost tough for me because I'm a homebody and I love my local roads, and I don't know if there is a perfect bike out there for me.
No, you've proven that.
That was like 30 bikes since
You proved that about
podcast
every
started,
6
but
months. You prove that.
No, I've got a long record. I do have a new frame coming, but I don't know. Like that one's a toss up.
Oh, for me, it's I would rather be on an average bike and travel and go places.
It's not the average bike. I don't know. Maybe I have anxiety of traveling the ride and the
Well,
unknown.
Well, but I think in this perfect world of our this or that, you could take all that anxiety and shelf
True,
it.
yeah.
You just shelf it.
Gives me
You say
anxiety thinking
ride,
about it.
ride anywhere.
It might be all the caffeine this morning because of the jitters, but because I've been drinking this whole thing this morning. You can't see it in the camera. I gotta go number one.
Yeah, Joey's always running at the end of our hour.
Got a little bladder. But yeah, I would pick the average bike. The experience of traveling would be fun.
Yeah, yeah. So. If you can combine number 2 and number 3 and take your favorite people with you to ride anywhere in the world on average bikes and mediocre routes, that would be the winner right there.
Yeah.
Last one: unlimited time to ride, but only average coffee forever, or incredible coffee anytime, but limited riding time.
I mean, number 2 explains my life right now. So maybe I'll go there by default.
That's another tough one because you want to pick the unlimited ride so you can, but my ride time's also very limited. So I might go. So the nice thing about incredible coffee anytime is that itself. You're not limited.
Yeah.
You know, weather, anything, time, fitness. So I might go number 2 just because I'd rather that's a consistent that I could always control in my life.
Yeah.
So.
Well, as a non-coffee drinker, I would, and actually, I already have unlimited time to
I know.
ride my bike. So.
It's like we're the opposites.
It's kind of the first one, just kind of describes my life. Because, but no, it's. I do think if you were to look at it from an unlimited time to ride, I think earning your ride time sometimes is rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everything in life.
Yep.
You know, when you work for something. And for me, that's the bike you ride on.
Yep.
So, well, listen, Karl, thank you so much for joining us. This has been just a tremendous amount of fun. Great conversation.
It's a pleasure.
And to those people that say you're a bike podcast, why are you talking about coffee? Stuck it. It's our podcast. We do whatever we want. And those two things, bikes and coffee, are so intertwined.
Yeah. It's not like we're talking about knitting and
no.
I do like to sew, but
we could talk about
which we could talk about sewing because we can get Evan on here, but no. And I think if you haven't heard about Alabaster or Karl on this podcast before, you
haven't been listening.
This might be your first episode. In that case, you have heard about Alabaster and Karl before, so it's a win-win for the cycling community. And having that person as a staple in our community, I think, is big. And I appreciate it, Karl.
You may have a busier cycling calendar than Larry. I think Larry does something every weekend. Are you doing events? Like how many events do you think you do during the course of a year that are bike related?
We do a bunch. I mean, we show up. We're at most of the pickle events. We also set up here locally for Iron Cross, Enduro. We'll have a presence at Endless Mountain Gravel this year. You know, hopefully a few others. You know, we're looking at putting together.
Where can folks find you in the next like 6 weeks or so? Where should they be on the lookout for you in this coming spring calendar?
Besides your brick and mortar,
This, coming up. If you follow, so my son is also racing with Zongi. They're a development team based out of York, Pennsylvania, and also our community tap partner for this month. And they raise money to donate bicycles to communities in rural Kenya, which is pretty awesome. So check them out, ZANGI. So we'll be traveling to some different Mass and Northern Virginia races for him. So you
Cool.
might catch us there. And then again, I think yeah, watch us
Just look. Follow the socials.
on the socials on our Facebook. We put events up. We have a trail race coming up at a local rider park next weekend. But those are most of the events that we do. Honestly, is bike races and trail runs. That's kind of our offsite niche. Or come visit us in Williamsport.
Say, yeah, give us the website and your socials so we can link all
We
that
are
up.
alabastercoffee.com, coffee spelled correctly. Find us on the gram and Facebook at Alabaster Coffee. There's also an Instagram for Alabaster Coffee Roaster that is a little more centric for our roasting team. So we do some more behind the scenes and sourcing information there.
Oh, fun. That's awesome. That's great. Listen, it really has been fun.
It's been great. Yeah.
It's been a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to doing an intro to coffee.
Yes,
I'm
please.
going to take you up on that, Carl. We're absolutely going to do that. Joey, how can folks get in touch with us if they're looking for us?
You can come touch us and shake our hands this weekend at Croatan Buck 50 in
So
Swansboro,
excited.
North Carolina. Our Instagram, though, which I don't use, don't even have the login for, is at Mid-Atlantic GTD. Got kicked off of that one. And then our website's graveltraveldirt.com.
You're going to make people think I kicked you
Brian
off.
kicked me off.
I did not.
Brian is boosting our ever-present YouTube channel, which
thank
might
you.
be Gravel Travel Dirt or bikepacking.tv.
It's Gravel Travel Dirt.
Yep.
Gravel Travel Dirt.
Trying this video thing again, so
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm going to do some B-roll into video on this one too.
there you go.
Show some screens, but I got some editing to do.
Yeah.
So, Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt is recorded this week from right here in, I'll say it, Jess's kitchen this week, even though she's not here. It's still Jess's kitchen. All the way up to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, which, Little League, that's the place to be. Thanks, everybody, for riding along. Until next time, do good, be nice, go slow, respect others.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye.